tracing the possibility of a lost civilization. I was very interested in Antarctica.
Most striking is the presence of Antarctica on ancient maps, because we didn't discover it.
Antarctica, a land of ice and silence, has long been enshrouded in mystery and wonder. For decades, we have been told that this frigid continent is a barren wasteland, home only to penguins, seals, and the occasional research station. Yet beneath its glacial surfaces, some believe, lies a story far more astonishing than scientists admit. A hidden past that challenges everything we think we know about human history and the evolution of civilization itself. Graham Hancock, a writer and investigator famous for questioning orthodox views of archaeology and prehistory, contends that the real Antarctica is not the lifeless expanse portrayed in textbooks. He argues that a forgotten chapter of Earth's narrative persists under the ice, waiting to be uncovered. An epoch when this icy realm was temperate, inhabited, and perhaps even home to an advanced civilization whose traces have been obscured by time and international secrecy. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. At the heart of this controversy lies the notion of an ice-free Antarctica. Geological and paleoclimatic evidence clearly demonstrates that millions of years ago, Antarctica was part of the supercontinent Gondwana, basking in congenial climes and covered in lush forests and teeming wildlife. Yet Hancock goes further than mainstream scholars, suggesting that as recently as 12 to 15,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age, a significant thaw would have rendered parts of the continent habitable by humans. He draws attention to warming periods evident in ice core records, hinting at interstadial phases when coastal regions might have supported verdant ecosystems. During these windows of relative warmth, people could have lived along shores and in valleys that are now buried under miles of ice. While mainstream scientists agree that the climate warmed briefly around that time, they maintain that Antarctica remained largely inhospitable. Hancock, however, believes the standard timeline underestimates the extent and rapidity of deglaciation, meaning that pockets of the land may have shed their ice cover long enough for human activity to flourish. In his exploration of hidden Antarctic secrets, Hancock delves into records of ancient mariners and explorers pointing to tantalizing hints in old maps. One of the most cited anomalies is the Piri Reis Map, drawn in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral, which depicts a southern landmass that some interpret as Antarctica's coast, free of its ice sheet. Critics argue the map's southern projection is speculative or derived from other known coastlines, but Hancock insists that its detailed contours mirror the mountain ranges beneath the ice, as later revealed by seismic surveys. Furthermore, he references snippets of medieval and Renaissance cartography that hint at a fertile southern realm. Maps whose origin remains mysterious and whose accuracy challenges conventional historiography. If such maps were indeed based on oral traditions, or even ancient charts produced by a vanished Antarctic culture, they would call into question our understanding of global navigation and the preservation of knowledge. Yet cartographic curiosities alone cannot substantiate the presence of ancient human settlements under the frozen wastes. Hancock supplements his thesis with geological observations and satellite imagery that reveal enigmatic features on the ice surface, circular depressions, linear alignments, and raised mounds that resemble ruins obscured by snow. He suggests that under certain lighting and satellite sensors, these shapes betray structures buried beneath. While glaciologists attribute these patterns to natural formations, ice domes, meltwater channels, and moraine deposits, Hancock urges us to consider the possibility of foundations, roads, and aqueducts belonging to a civilization now lost to the ages. He points to the phenomenon of blue ice areas, where winds scour away the snow to expose underlying ice that sometimes entombs unusual objects, including meteorites and potentially, artifacts. Perhaps the most compelling and controversial aspect of Hancock's argument involves whispers of classified reconnaissance. According to rumors within certain circles, military and intelligence agencies have flown covert overflights and radar surveys to detect artificial anomalies under the Antarctic sheet. Hancock cites testimonies from alleged insiders who claim that ground-penetrating radar images reveal vast geometric patterns, hectares of right angles and grid-like layouts that defy natural explanation. He maintains that the U.S. government and its allies have suppressed these findings to prevent the disruption of established geopolitics and scientific orthodoxy. Conspiracy theories flourish in the press of secrecy surrounding the Antarctic Treaty System, which forbids military activity and enshrines the continent as a scientific preserve. Hancock argues that this very cloak of diplomacy serves to conceal archaeological discoveries that would rewrite human history. These assertions ignite fierce debate among experts. Polar scientists emphasize the logistical and financial impracticality of large-scale covert operations in Antarctica, where every flight and drilling mission leaves a paper trail. They underscore that modern ice-penetrating radar technology, which is indeed used for climate research and glaciology, has not uncovered evidence of archaeological sites. Instead, it maps subglacial lakes, mountain ranges, and the bedrock topography with remarkable clarity, and reveals no vast cities or pyramidal structures. Furthermore, ground-penetrating radar cannot discriminate between rock and masonry at depths of several kilometers of overlying ice. The features Hancock points to often emerge at altitudes unreachable by radar and are more plausibly explained by underlying geology, folded rock strata, and formerly glaciated landforms shaped by wind and erosion. Beyond radar, Hancock turns to satellite altimetry and gravitational surveys, arguing that gravitational anomalies over certain Antarctic regions hint at dense human-made materials. He references NASA's GRACE mission, which maps variations in Earth's gravity field and has detected subtle anomalies across the continent. While such variations are indeed present, geophysicists attribute them to natural mass distributions, subglacial water reservoirs, dense volcanic intrusions, and ancient mountain routes deep beneath the ice. The suggestion that these anomalies mark buried cities requires an extraordinary level of density. Concrete, stone, and metal in vast quantities. Hardly plausible in a civilization whose remains would have to endure floods, glacial surges, and millennia of sub-zero temperatures. Skeptics also question the absence of supporting evidence in human genetics and linguistics. If a flourishing Antarctic culture existed during the terminal Pleistocene, 12 or more millennia ago, it would likely have left discernible traces in the genomes of contemporary peoples across the southern hemisphere. The inventory of ancient DNA recovered from human remains worldwide provides no hint of an Antarctic branch of humanity, nor do any indigenous languages in South America, Australia, or Oceania contain substrata attributable to such a civilization. Hancock counters that genetic drift and population bottlenecks, amplified by subsequent migrations, could have erased these signals. He also posits that a cataclysmic event, a rapid glacial meltdown or comet impact, may have obliterated records and scattered survivors along coasts far from their original homeland, assimilating into other groups without leaving distinct linguistic markers. Intriguing though these hypotheses may be, the most persuasive evidence, or lack thereof, lies in on-the-ground archaeology. Antarctica, despite its remote and forbidding environment, has been the subject of numerous geological and biological expeditions. In the coastal fringes, where any ancient settlements would have been most likely, scientists have drilled ice cores, sampled subglacial sediments, and even dived beneath ice shelves to study life forms. None of these ventures has uncovered pottery shards, tool fragments, or organic residues consistent with human habitation. Instead, they find microbial mats, fossilized pollen, and dinosaur remains dating back millions of years, undeniable proof of a distant past, but not of a recent human-scale civilization. Hancock insists that exploration has been too shallow, in both senses of the word. He calls for deep drilling projects, sediment coring around the peripheries, and targeted radar surveys focused on the most promising sites. The financial and political hurdles to such an undertaking are immense. Deep drilling through kilometers of ice demands specialized equipment, logistics, and funding in the tens to hundreds of millions of dollars. Treaty stipulations limit national sovereignty claims, making large collaborative ventures bureaucratically complex. Nonetheless, Hancock argues that the potential rewards, uncovering evidence of a civilization that reshapes our view of human ingenuity, justify the effort. He envisions a multinational project akin to the race to map the human genome or to sequence the genetic material of endangered species, a concerted push to penetrate the veil of ice and recover artifacts, remnants, and perhaps even written records locked away for epochs. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Antarctica's secrets? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.